So I'm going to share with you what I practice, or what Trey and I both practice in our marriage. That's probably the best gift that you can give your spouse. Probably even better than sex. What? What? Oh my gosh. Girl, what you talking about? Here it is, people. Allowing your spouse the freedom to be who they are. It seems really simple, right? Like, Tia, I already do that. Tia, duh, that's a given. But in practice, in real life, and going through the motions with these things, it can be a little challenging. And I just want to throw a disclaimer out there before we even get into the nitty-gritty of this stuff. This does not condone any reckless behavior or violent behavior. Of course, there's no infidelity involved. You don't have to be a doormat. You don't have to be walked over in order to allow someone to be themselves. There are limits. There are thresholds. You will know as we go along with this, given the examples that I share with you between Trey and I, just how we manage those limitations. For those of you all who are new to my channel, my husband is Trey, and we have been married for 9 years, and we have been together since I was 17. I am 34 now. So when I think about who Trey is and what he likes, like things that are just genuinely or naturally part of him, of his makeup, I think about what attracted me to him. And I invite you to do the same about your partner. Think about what attracted you to him. And I'm going to use him because of the reference that I'm coming from. Was it his physique? Was it his bomb cooking skills in the kitchen? Was it his deep pockets? I mean, ladies, it's a trait. Was it his love for travel and taking you on with him on that travel? Did he always make you laugh and you just found everything he said to be hilarious? Was it his boss mindset? He made moves. He was a true hustler. He knew how to get out there and get things done. Just a boss. And then after you're able to kind of have a moment to meditate on that or journal that, think about how you can allow those characteristics or pieces of him that's just innately him. How can you allow those to continue to flourish and grow instead of becoming stagnant or him entering this plateau stage, right? Because as a wife, it's kind of our role to kind of be that helpmate and to allow him the freedom to discover more about himself so that he can grow more. It's not my job to make him grow more. It's just I'm allowing him the space and the freedom for him to do that if he so chooses. One of the things that we model in our relationship is that we don't want one another to compromise too much of ourselves in order to make the other person feel comfortable. A lot of times if you do that, you can become burnt out and stressed and depressed, really, because you're not fully tapping into who you are. And I feel like when you're in this relationship, you deserve to be loved without hiding parts of yourself, right? It's your right. Now I'm going to give you examples of how that plays out in our lives, or with Trey, my husband. This is what his freedom looks like in a window view. Number one, Trey is very humorous. That's something that I was drawn to him from the beginning. He loves a good laugh. He loves to make other people laugh. That's just part of who he is. But most of the times, and he's gotten better about this, but most of the times I'm usually the butt of all of his jokes. Like, I'm his humor muse. We have come a long way. Before, he would do it more regularly and it would make me feel some type of way, make me feel uncomfortable. So years ago, I would tell him to refrain from like using me in any of his jokes. Like, don't joke with me like being the butt of the joke. Like, it's uncomfortable. Like, I don't like it. Then time went on. It was just so hard for him, poor thing. He really could not help himself because I was just that much a part of his life, and humor is involved in it as well. And so he he just couldn't. And I was just like, look, Tia, like, don't take yourself too seriously. Sometimes you got to be able to laugh at yourself. And so it's okay. You know, he's doing this out of fun, out of humor. And it's not like he's intentionally trying to be mean or bad, Matthew. He's just, this is his lovely way of playing or being playful. So I have accepted it now. And he knows that there's a limit, you know, and we have open communication to where I'm like, all right, buddy, you need to chill out. Another aspect of his humor is that Tre loves to watch videos and different clips or memes of funny things. He follows these certain Instagrammers, like comedians on Instagram. I call it male humor because for some reason, it can be super hilarious to the male species, and when a female or a woman looks at it, it's like, what is this? But he can't just look at the videos. He wants me to join in with him and look at the videos. He wants me to join in and find the joy and the humor out of these moments with him and be able to laugh with him. And I'm like, I like dry humor. You like a totally different type of humor than me. Like, this is just who Tre is, and it's perfectly fine. But I need to be able to interact with him and, you know, help him really embrace that part of himself. So instead of me complaining about, I don't want to watch another video. Oh my gosh, like, really? How long is this video? 48 seconds. Really? Oh my gosh. 40. Do you know what I could do with 48 seconds of my time right now? Instead of reacting in that way, I say, okay, babe, let me see the video. I agree to watch it. I watch it. And if I find it funny, then I laugh. If I don't, I'm like, boy, whatever, you know. But the key thing is I spend time with him in that moment and allow him to share with me something that he finds hilarious. Whether it's really hilarious or not, it doesn't matter. It's just that the time was given, the freedom was given for him to share and be himself completely in that moment. There was growth there. Pat myself on the back. There was growth there, y'all. Whew. Y'all just don't know. Example number 2. Tre can never sit still. Tre always has to be doing something, and not only doing something, but doing something like extreme, an extreme sport or an extreme activity. So he has this bike. It's a fixed gear bike, and what that means is it doesn't have any changeable gears, and it doesn't have brakes. So he rides this bike with no gears and no brakes to work, on the road, with cars, in a major city. I'm freaking out over here, okay? Dude, what are you doing? You're going down hills and you gotta like stop your bike like this? Are you freaking kidding me? Like, first of all, those are precious jewels. This was before we had kids and he was like starting this whole fixed gear bike adventure. And I'm like, you're gonna crush something. You're going to put something out of action, and where are we gonna be then? Or, you know, like, I need you to kind of like protect yourself because, you know, you have a family now and you can't just be out here riding bikes with no brakes. I know he's gonna be safe. He's gonna try his best to be safe, but I can't deny this of him because he genuinely loves his fixed gear bike. To this day, he still rides his bike to work without any brakes. And from there, he started running half marathons, and then it became marathons. He did his triathlon and gears to running a full Ironman. Not only did he run this Ironman race and submit himself and his body to this amount of stress, but mind you, his race happened exactly 1 week after Harlow was born, which means we traveled down to Chattanooga for the race, and I was waiting for him at the finish line with a 1-week-old baby strapped to my chest. And I boo-hooed so hard at the end of that race, y'all. I was crying because I was so happy for his accomplishment and just how hard he worked. And then I was like, and I'm so glad you are done. 2 years later, and he's doing another Ironman. The freedom, y'all. The freedom is real. Do you understand? But there are limits, right? He wanted to do a triathlon last year, I think, and Harlow was still really young, and I was like, absolutely not. Like, no, I need you to sit down somewhere. Take a seat. Take a seat, sir. But I know I can't keep him seated for long. He's got to be up and doing something. So I just say, you know what? Go ahead. There are actually good things involved with this. Like, his physique is always really nice. I mean, and that's a plus, you know. 3, he has an active social life. This guy is the extreme extrovert. And I am not. I am an extroverted introvert. I know how to turn it on when I need to be. But in order for me to kind of rejuvenate myself, I have to come back to Tia in a quiet space around no one and very little stimuli. And so that's how I decompress and rejuvenate myself. He, on the other hand, needs to be around people. He needs to be doing things. He likes to just be active. This was something, again, that I was attracted to when we first met, because he was just a go-getter. He was just very suave, and he had a great charismatic personality, and everyone loved him. Wherever he went, he left a really beautiful, lasting impression, and I was attracted to that guy. And you know, I would think of him like, man, this guy's got his stuff together, and he knows who he is, and he's confident in how he represents himself, and that is attractive, right? So now that we're married and I know these things about him, and now he wants to be able to be himself and share this with the world and his friends and his community, and that's okay, right? In moderation, it's perfectly fine for him to do that. I realize that he's different from me, that he needs his social interaction, so I give him the freedom to go hang out with his friends. And to be quite honest, Tre usually does something every weekend. He has something on his schedule or his agenda to do outside of his, you know, spending time with his family, and I give him the freedom to have that interaction because this is something that he genuinely loves to do, and it's just a part of him. They hang out often, and you know, a group of guys, and they're not doing anything crazy. They're, you know, it's not involving anything that's, you know, promiscuous or indecent or anything like that. It's just them hanging out and having a good time, male camaraderie, and just, you know, having fun, telling his little cheesy male jokes. I don't know. I don't want to make this video too long. I hope that this topic was helpful to you, or just a way to encourage you to start having that conversation with your spouse or your partner in your relationship, because I think it's really, really important, and it's something that allows a relationship to really just become deeper and transformative, and you know, just past that surface level. This one really connects the two of you and allows you to really grow together. This is, to me, a lot of times better than sex, because yes, sex gives you that gratification, you know, in that moment, and afterwards you have a certain bliss, but this is something that occurs every moment of the day, whether you know it or not. And it's just, it makes your life full and enjoyable and peaceful. You have the freedom to really just focus on yourself and compliment your partner and live together in harmony. That is, to me, the sweetness of a relationship. If you like videos like this and you'd like to see more, definitely subscribe so that you can stay in the loop. So thanks again, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.